welcome to another episode of Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast, the weekly tap in. It is August 1st, 2022. I'm your host, Duane and I'm tapping in. What's going on with it, CJ? I see you. Appreciate it, homie. Trying to get everybody to move over here real quick. Facebook put me on restrictions, so I wasn't able to broadcast live from there. So I appreciate you guys coming on over to YouTube, or if you're tapping in with us on um, LinkedIn, we're live on LinkedIn as well. I encourage you guys to connect with me on LinkedIn just to see what you're up to professionally. That's just my teacher hat coming out, so I appreciate that. Make sure you put where you tapping in from, what city, what state. We want to represent everybody. We appreciate it, man. I got an email from West Virginia. Man, Cat told me he dig the podcast, listen to us all the time. So I appreciate those type of shout outs, man, especially in the places where I wouldn't think people are listening. So we're obviously worldwide, and we appreciate the love globally. So continue that support. We'll continue to deliver the message, bring it to you guys. And I wanted to make a caveat on the title too. So this is episode 21 of season 3, right? Refuse to lose. But I thought that was selfish, right? And the reason why I thought it was selfish, and oftentimes, and this is what I've been reflecting on a little bit lately, is my motives and my intention, right? Because we just talked about the power of the book of positive intentions that I showed you guys last week. I still got mine, so it's close. It's close. And I've been writing in it. It's been working. But I tell you what, enemy doesn't like that. Nah, he's not with the book of positive intentions, because if you set your intentions in a positive way, he wants um you to do it based on ego, right? And when I thought about this title, Refuse to Lose, that was selfish because everybody's not losing right now, right? I may be taking L's, right? So it's reflective of what I'm going through at this present moment. I may be taking L's. So I want to talk about how not to lose, right? But what if you're winning right now? Why am I not talking to you too, right? Because these are God messages. These aren't ego driven, right? And I want to be clear on that, because everything I get, I pray and ask for from God. Give me the message, give me the energy to do it. You tell me what to say. So it doesn't need to be scripted. I don't need a producer telling me when to say what. This is all God is producing it. He's got the camera, the little thing that you say cut and all. He's telling me what to do. So a lot of this stuff, I'm like, man, I had to check myself and refuse to lose. I'm like, you talking about yourself, dog. I said, but what about the cats who's getting W's right now? Why aren't you talking about how to maintain those? Because if you were getting W's right now, you damn should be talking about how to maintain W's. So yeah, it's selfish in a sense. So I had to check myself. I'm like, wait a minute, dog. You gotta talk about both sides of the coin. You can't just talk about how not to lose and talking about coping with losses and all this stuff. You got to talk about how to celebrate your W's. You got to talk about how when you are getting in the win column, right? How to celebrate it, how to properly celebrate it for yourself and bring other people in, and also capitalize on that energy and momentum, right? So when you are winning, it's just like being in rhythm, right? They call it. There's a guy at a Claremont does some research. The flow, state of flow, right? And that's the same thing when you're in that winning state. You're in a state of flow, and that's a positive energy, right? And I think that there's a lot of people who've come and talk about energy and all these different things that kind of made it kind of foo-foo, but it's a true reality, right? So when you're in that spirit of winning, when you are getting your blessings, when you found your bag, et cetera, right? There's a way to maintain that, right? And another thing I want you to do is document it. I've talked to you guys about journaling. We have the book of positive intentions, and yeah, I'm going there because these are the tools that I'm using. And I don't know if it happens to you guys, but I know one thing that happens to me a lot is God. He talks to me through everything: Facebook posts, things on TV, situations. My wife's, you got to, she witnesses half of it. She's like, "You serious?" I'm like, "I told you." and it'll be some kind of message that God's trying to say to me. Like today, like I said, my dad had passed. I had a little rough morning. You anybody who had a loved one pass, you've had those days where like, damn, you know what I'm saying? The reality kind of sets in. So I had one of them days and I needed to enter. I'm like, man, and that's why my first instinct was to name this Push His Ass Back. Right. That was my original thought for this episode was push his ass back. Because that's the one thing you have to do in life when the enemy comes with his forces. You got to push his ass back and let him know, yeah, you might have caught me, you might have dolphin me, mollywop me, whatever you want to call it, but I'm back on your ass, right? You can't stop me. You hit me with everything you could. You knocked the wind out of me. My son goes for his belt testing. All his black belts come by. It's like 8 or 9 of them. Just sock him in the stomach over and over again. It's like 8 or 9 of them, right? But it's whenever they graduate, they're trying to get your stomach tough, and it goes up on and on. And that's how it feels when the enemy's coming. It feels like there's 8 of them. Boom, 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 boom. You just keep getting hit. So you have to you have to have tools and things around you to understand. And God knows that you're getting smacked on too. He gets that. But at the same time, you got to know he'll send messages to confirm you're going to be okay. This is a test you will pass. You will make it to the next level. You have more men, for my video game heads, you still have more men and more lives, right? So that's the thing, you can't tap out, right? I was talking to it was my mom, and she was saying, this and this and that, and she was talking to a loved one and kind of didn't give him or her the advice that they probably needed to hear at that time. And that's the one thing we got to do. Even if we don't know what realistic is, we don't know what their reality is. We have no idea. So when somebody says something, right, just listen, you know, because everything is subjective, including your advice. It depends on what you're going through. It depends on what happened to you. You hit the lottery, you giving out sage advice. The sky's the limit, live life. You're on your last dollar, you might be giving some different advice. So the advice is kind of, one of those things that's a little bit subjective. So you got to be careful on how you put it out there. And I say, if you don't have anything positive to say, go ahead and keep it to yourself. But if you do have something positive to say, put it out there and speak life into them, because they may be the ear that may be the juice, that may be the recipe, that may be what they needed to hear at that time. You may be that God sent message, right? I passed upon an opportunity today to compliment 2 ladies on their hats, and I struggle with it, and I don't know why. I have no idea why. Maybe because of the shit storm that I was going through mentally this morning and feel like I couldn't give nothing out. But their hats were dope, and it was hiking hats that I've been looking for, and I didn't say it. So that was my opportunity to be God for them. And I think one of the things that bothered me was that it was a lady walking with her parent, and she was walking her, and I felt some type of way, like I don't have mine to walk with. And that was super selfish, right? That was withholding something that you knew could make someone's day or not, right? But you withheld it because of what you went through. And how many times have we withheld compliments and things like that to other people when we know we should be saying something, like a car or whatever, because we salty at whatever position that we're in? We got to give unconditional love and unconditional compliments if we expect that to come from God to us, right? Unconditional love and unconditional compliments. When you think something's nice, tell somebody. Their response it doesn't matter. Who cares what their response is? Their response is irrelevant to what your intentions are. Tying it back to what I always talk about with intentions. You got to make sure your intentions are pure. Mine weren't. Mine were, but I let my ego get in the way of me doing what I wanted to do. Right. What my true intentions were to compliment them on their hats. But my ego said, "Nah, you salty, homie. Live this, woo, 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 woo." And I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And that was on me, but it won't happen again. That was my God lesson for today. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your ego, don't let what you're currently go through impact your advice to someone else or impact your ability to lift someone else up. I don't feel like saying they nice. Oh, that's nice. Even though I know it is, but I'm salty because of my current position. Your current position is temporary. That's the thing I needed to realize. This stuff hurts and stings, but it's temporary. Shots hurt and sting. Things hurt and sting, but they're all temporary, right? They're nothing that's going to be to the point of everlasting, right? So we can't make everlasting decisions because we don't know how that may impact somebody else. If you guys read the Four Agreements, read that one about taking things personal when the girl was singing and her mom or came home having a bad day and told her to shut up, and she never sang again, right? Because of what her current position was. And that's why I had to check myself on when I even dropped this episode. I'm like, refuse to lose. What about preparing to win? You know what I'm saying? What about that? What it do, Sammy? Appreciate you guys tapping in, man. As always, man. You guys are a blessing to me, man. You keep me going. So I appreciate that. People from all over the world, you keep me going. Send me your messages, please. I look forward to them. You know what I'm saying? They make my day. Ask my wife. I tell her about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been doing this for a long time. It's 152 of these. 152 of these. You know what I'm saying? That's chump change in terms of episodes, but it's work. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it. You know what I mean? The fact that we even have one, two, whatever, how many of our listeners, it doesn't matter. Or watchers, viewers, or whatever the case may be. That doesn't matter. What are my intentions? My intentions are to save somebody's soul at some point in time. I used to tell the cast and juvenile, all I need y'all one person to commit to their goals, and we'll change the world. How you, man, raindrops form streams, and streams form rivers, and rivers form oceans. So all it takes is a few drops. And that's the key right there. You got to just do a little bit at a time. You know what I mean? You don't have to do so. I don't have to go out, write a book, do all this extra shit right now. My story's not finished enough to do that. Shout out to the people that are, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not at that point yet. My whole thing is I gotta be proof of what I'm asking you guys to do. Bottom line. I gotta be living proof of what I'm putting out there and how I'm dealing with it. So if I'm dealing with loss, if I'm dealing with struggle, if I'm dealing with imposter syndrome, I want to share that with you and tell you guys how to overcome that. Because I've been through literally, like Nipsey also said, the reason why I'm successful is I've been through every emotion that there is to be. I've been at loss, I've been at sorrow, I've been scared, I've been rage, I've been all these different emotions. I've gone through all of them. And he said the one thing that makes me different is that I didn't quit. You know what I'm saying? Period. What it do, Anthony? Appreciate you from tapping in, homie. Little Rock in the building, baby. What it do? And that's the key, is not quitting, right? You don't know when your time is gonna come. You don't know when that bag, you don't know, you have no idea when anything's gonna happen. So the best thing for you to do is stay in the game and show up. I promise you that. You know, I there was incident happened this weekend where I was like, only like these two cats had booked the tour. And I'm like, man, shouldn't do the tour. And I'm like, nah, something's nudging me to do it. And I was like, all right, I did it. And it gave me a chance to do a trial one for a new tour that we were doing. So I was like, all right, let me work this in. Did the tour, made 2 new contacts at 2 new dispensaries that I've been trying to get to. And that goes back to that whole timing thing. When you get what's going on now, what it do, man? Okay. All right, back from Oklahoma. Yeah, man. Um, the thing about it is, just because something doesn't happen right then doesn't mean it's not going to. Right? The timing, everything has to be put in place so that other things aren't out of place. And you may not be ready at that time. So this cat at this dispensary that I've been trying to get at, since we started. What are the odds of us pulling in the parking lot, parking the bus, and the person who quarterbacks everything is hopping out his car? It's like, what you guys doing? A tour? Da, 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 da. I said, dude, I've been trying to get at you guys for years. Oh, here's my number. Da, da, da. And that's what I mean. When you, when your blessing comes, it is effortless. You're like, what? Man, I've been trying. I'm calling. I'm showing up. I'm on Instagram sending messages. Nothing, 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 nothing. Pull up. Just pull up on some, because the first place we went to that was affiliated with this dispensary was like, we don't have any more flour. So I was like, how do you guys not have flour? They were like, go to our other place around the corner. I'm like, man, I don't like going there because it's too crowded. And most of I don't like my people waiting too long. It throws off the tour. You know what I'm saying? So we go there, dude, right outside, hook my people up. I'm like, man, this has got to be. The prices were cheaper. I'm just like, man, this is a blessing, and it just showed you and just confirmed. Show up because you never know what God's timing is. Our time is a man's construct, right? It doesn't amount to nothing but some old industrial shit. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, it doesn't what is time? You don't know when your blessings gonna come. You gotta keep working, right? You gotta keep working, bottom line, and keep living. That's another thing too, and keep blessing, right? Bless people with advice, bless people with opportunity, bless that's the thing. If you can be, don't be an ornery, envious, crabby cat. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, then that's the kind of energy you're gonna attract. You know what I mean? You'll find other people that are in similar circumstance with better complaints than you. Speaking of which, I had to reread this book. I found myself complaining a lot. You guys, I know you probably can't. You should be able to see it. Complaint Free World, dope book. Highly recommended because it shows you about appreciation, right? You got to be on one side of the spectrum. You're either going to be on that other side where you find fault in everything that goes on, or you're going to be at appreciation. And that's what I had to check myself on because I got it good. But, the enemy doesn't want you to think that. He wants you to look at everything as being foul. Look at all the dog shit in this park. You know what I mean? All the graffiti over. And then you find yourself complaining. Like, man, what am I doing? I'm not even working on the blessings. Then once you start complaining, you stop showing up. And when you stop showing up, you don't see God working in your life. You can't see it because you missing the opportunity because you decided, I'm not going. Why? Because I'm salty. Man, you don't knock it off. Man, go. Show up, man. Be nice, be cool. You don't know who you're gonna bump into, even if they a rude ass. They might be pressed for time, they might be hungry. You know how we get when our ribs are touching. You feel me? So it might be one of those instances. You don't know. Don't judge. Be easy. And when I'm talking to you guys, I'm really talking to myself, right? I'm really talking to myself. I had to check myself in traffic. I'm one of them cats. I got an A-type personality. I can't live like that. You dig what I'm saying? And I got to fall back. And that's when the blessings come to me. And when I say they come to you, they come to you. You don't have to chase them like this restaurant. Let me back up off this shit. Because we had a conversation about that, right? Chasing your dreams and get to the point to where you're obsessive and obnoxious to them, and they running away from your ass, right? Man, let me get away from this dude. This dude is, oh man. Every time I turn around, he talking about me. He won't even let me form. He won't even let me in the universe get to cooking. He up there looking in what y'all cooking. When y'all gonna bring it? Can't be like that. You got to put that seed, you got to drop that seed and just put your shit on autopilot, auto gardener, turn it the drip, whatever, right? But you can't be desperate. Desperation chases things away. And I'm really talking to myself. I got the books, I got all this stuff talking about we got the recipe that's it. We got it. And I need to trust the universe and God to deliver everything else. There's only so much that I can do physically without sacrificing the gifts that God already gave me. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. Because a lot of times what happens is we get so caught up in chasing something else that we neglect the blessings that we asked for 6-7 months ago. We already on to some other shit, right? He gave us exactly what we asked for, but we already looking at something else. Man, why ain't I got this? I got the 4Gs, but I ain't got he got the red, man. Come on, homie. You didn't ask for the red ones. You asked for these. Oh, now you seen the red ones. You got to give me time, homie. That's how God is. Man, what? And you don't even really know if you want these red ones. You just saw his and now you want some other shit. So God he ain't gonna deliver automatically, right? What they call it, instant gratification. One of the problems of our generation right now. We want it immediately. God, give it to me. And he just gave you some other stuff that you just asked for, but you want something else because you saw something else. We just like kids in a candy store. But at the same time, we got to be able to compress that desire, right? To kind of push it down and like, nah, Let me appreciate what he gave me. Let me just start cleaning that up. Let me start looking at that. Let me start shining my damn. Let me get back on. Let me do what he gave me already. He gave me my wife. He gave me my kids. He gave me my pad. I can't be looking at other pads like, damn, they got the 1.5 million pad. Man, you better be happy with whatever one he gave you. Remember when you didn't have that? You remember that wasn't that long ago, homie. You remember when you didn't have that and you was just praying for that, right? So we can't neglect our current positions because we saw something that we think is sexier, that we think is better. That's not going to put us in a better position. That's going to make us envious. That's going to make us neglect what we currently have in our. And what happens when you neglect what's in front of your face? Somebody who appreciates it more comes and gets it, including your job, your business, your girl, whatever, your man. Doesn't matter. You don't go looking for other stuff. Let me go try to find something else that's better. You have no idea. You know what I'm saying? You find some good food, stick with it, man. Good food is hard to find. Well, I promise you that. Right now, good food is a struggle. All the cooks are tripping, they done tapped out, whatever. But you feel what I'm saying though. So when I get to when I'm in my like I said, I was in my feelings this morning. You come out ego tripping, right? Like everything's centered around you. And the universe doesn't know what the hell you going through. Right? I was at the pull-up bar earlier, man. I'm walking around. Again, ego talking to me. Man, walking around. I'm doing my pull-ups in between laps. See this cat come over there. He start working out, stretching. I'm like, here we go. And then I had to check myself. I said, man, he ain't know you was over there working out. You're tripping. But that's the ego talking, already thinking like, man. So I walk up. When I come back around, I'm like, can I get in between? He, man, by all means, one of the most courteous, nicest. But again, look how the ego's already talking for him, man. I'm over here stretching. You ain't finna get none of it. That's how you thinking. And that's when my peon ass was thinking earlier. Like, man, you go over there, go get your set in, man. He just over here. He don't know what you doing. And I had to check myself because a lot of times we think the world revolves around us, so we act accordingly. Ego tripping. You feel me? What's going on? Spot tapping in. I appreciate the tap in, homie. Appreciate that. Some of you guys are using different names, so if I don't respond like like I don't know your handles, but I certainly appreciate you tapping in. Sincerely, man. So that's what I'm on right now. I'm refusing to lose because I'm getting dusted, man. I ain't even gonna lie, the enemy two-piecing me every time I step out the house. Right. And we go through that, like, man, this fool lurking. But what do you do when that happens, right? Just like a dog that's chasing you. What do you do when you turn around and flip it on his ass? I'm tired of running. Let me turn around and start chasing your punk ass. And that's what you have to do to the enemy, flip, turn it around on him. Get positive energy. What can I do? Man, let me get up and do some squats. He can't control that. He can't stop that. He can't stop me from walking laps. He can try. He can throw something out there, something to distract you, something that he can try. But you got to understand at that point, that's when you turn it on even harder. Chase his ass down, push his ass back, right? The enemy ain't got nothing on you, but he tries. He's going to try whatever obstacle, right? I'm in between 3 or 4 different things. I just trying to finish burying my dad. They got the blessing of a lifetime because I get to present an academic conference. First time for that, right? I'm breaking through barriers for myself. It may not seem like much to others, but it's a huge deal to me. Huge for my academic career. You know what I mean? First of many. Once I get the recipe, that's it. That's it. I got it. I figured it out. We're gone. But all these things are happening right now, so I'm juggling. So my hands are full. He just boom, belly shots, whop, hooks, boom, bam, sun tripping, pop. Let me pop. I'm like, man, come down with a cold, pop, pop. I'm like, man, soon as you get wind, he coming, 2-piece, doop, doop. First thing in the morning, doop, 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 doop. Damn. You know what I'm saying? But after you get your ass whooped so many times, you get tired of it, right? And you get up and say, man, you know what? Not today, partner. I'm on your neck. Let me chase you down, right? Let me show you what time it is, dog. And that's what you got to do. Put the pressure back on his neck. Let me get on your. What don't you like? Progress? Watch this. Let me get in my book. Let me go ahead and write me some jewels. And I'm not going to acknowledge your punk ass. Not even in here. I ain't talking about with the enemy. I'm talking about only positive intentions. Oh, and he hates that. He don't want you, you know what I'm saying? For real. Yeah, man. Oh, man, condolences, homie. I'm sorry to hear that, dog. Yeah, man. And that's when then you got to wonder, but then even then when we lose someone, what is that telling us? Right? It's telling us, man, you got all the lessons that you need. You have everything you need to succeed from this point. They don't need to tell you anything else. Go. And that's what I got from God. Go. Go. Don't turn around. Go. He gave you everything you needed. He told you, he gave you the most sage advice that anybody could possibly give you. Go. You're going to get smacked. You're going to get hands put on you. Especially the enemy, he come with the vengeance. If you got any sprinkle of faith of God in there, right? And I ain't talking about religion. I'm for sure not talking about religion. I'm talking about the direct connect. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to go through the middleman to get the extras, dog. Nah. We ain't doing that no more. You dig? So that's, you know, that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I got to deal with the loss and all that stuff. But at the same time, whenever something like this magnitude happens, only thing comes out is a flower or a rose. That's it. We come out shining, we come out smelling right, we come out with fragrances, colors that nobody ever even thought we could produce. Right? We come with sayings, we come with projects, we come with things that we didn't even think that we could pull off, right? Because we digging deep now. Because we don't have nowhere else to dig. We can't lean on nothing. We have to depend on our own two legs now, right? And even if we weren't depending on somebody financially, it's just that the fact that they was there made things a lot easier and decisions a lot easier. But when they're gone, when that crutch is gone, when that that thing that you loved that you expected to be there all the time is gone, you either turn into somebody or you turn not into somebody. One or the two. And I know that sounds kind of simple, but think about that. It either makes you a motherfucker or not. You know what I'm saying? One or the two. You either tap in or tapping out. And I'm tapping in now, right? I'm going to the wheels fall off with respect and honor to my father because he believed in me so much. Now I got to prove that he was right. Even though I know he was, but I know he's right. So I know that my blessings are coming, or else I wouldn't be getting hit so hard. I wouldn't be getting socked. I wouldn't be getting twisted around, tossed, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's teaching me some things. Stay focused, right? And I meditated today. I've been playing chess a lot more on my phone, just concentrating things. You know what I'm saying? And that helped me. I walked earlier, did like a 3-mile walk in between my pull-up sets. Meditating, best view in LA. If you ever come to LA, there's a park on top of View Park where you can see the entire city. You can see the ocean, Hollywood sign. You can see down. You can see. They call it View Park because literally you get a 360 view of the city. I promise you can see the valley, the different mountain ranges. One of the best views, and that's where I was today. And that dude was playing violin. It was like a perfect setting, one of them God settings. Like I've been waiting for you to get here. Dude was playing the violin in the middle of the street. It was just perfect because I didn't have my earbuds. And that was one of them ones where it's hesitation, like, man, damn, should you do this? You should go chill. And it was during my son's karate classes. Let me get this corner. Let me go up here and get a couple miles in, a couple sets on these pull-ups. And that worked for me. So I'm finding therapeutic things to get me through, right? Because I know I know I'm getting mollywopped, right? Because I know what type of goal and path that I'm on, right? I'm working with really professional. There's another professor at one of the campuses I teach at that put me on her research project. So God bless her. She knows who she is. If you watch it, thank you again. But these are things that are going to help me career-wise. And more importantly, they're going to help my kids. So when they're at a point to where they're like, oh, Dad, we want to go to grad school. Okay, well, here's how you do this. Here's how to do this. Here's how to do this. And these are all experiences that, of course, imposter syndrome's kicking in. I'm hella uncomfortable. I feel like I don't know shit, right? So a lot of these things are taking place, but they're good for me, right? They're good for me because they're going to stretch me. They're going to make me, they're going to take me into places that I didn't believe that I could go, right? And that's where you find yourself, your real self, right? Because the only thing that you're basing your life on is what you've done in the past. And a lot of times people base their interactions on you based on what you've done in the past. The only person that knows your future is God. That's it. You don't even know your future. You think sometimes you may have visions of it and call it deja vu, right? We've had that. Damn, I had this. Yeah, dog, the shit is real. Vision is real, right? So you're going to see things that you've seen probably in dreams. And hopefully you're dreaming the right way. That's why our input is so critical. We got to have the right input, ears, eyes, all that, because whatever comes out is what's coming in. So if nothing of values coming in, you get the picture, and vice versa. So we got to read the right books. We got to read the right articles. We got, because you don't know when God's going to talk to you. He has this stuff so arranged, so far in advance that if you don't, he got to say, okay, so if he doesn't do this, I got another thing over here that I'm gonna teach him the lesson over here. And if he doesn't go over there, I got another one that I got over here for him. And if he doesn't look at that, I'm gonna send a message through this person to do X, Y, Z. That's how God works. And it'd be months and years in advance. Years in advance. You're like, damn, how did this line up like this? How did this? Right. Right? It's, man, nah, don't even try to wrap your brain around it. Don't try to compute it. Don't try to, nah. These things happen because God wants them to happen. Period. You know what I'm saying? And what you ask for, you will get if you believe it enough. Our belief system has to be strong, right? You cannot give up. You got to refuse to lose. Can't give up, man. I know God got something better for me. This shit. I know God's got something better than this. And the only person wants you to quit is the enemy. He's like, man, he wearing me out, because next thing you know, it's gonna be people that see him, they're gonna follow him. Don't think that they can do it too. What happened with the mile, with Prefontaine or whatever, 6 minutes or whatever, and then they continue to break it. So once one person breaks it down, once one person starts believing, once one person in the family changes stuff, man, now we think different now. Now we doing this now, right? We doing this. I saw, man, it was not the change subject, but it was a lady on it was a shooting at a park out here, San Pedro. And the lady got on there banging, said, I don't know nothing, but this is what we have. I'm like, that's the problem. Ain't nobody stop the nonsense. So you be that catalyst. You could be that person in your family that stops the nonsense. Now we're done with that. We're done with ignorance. Now we're not guessing. We're not coming with folk and fairy tales, man. We looking shit up. We got Google, right? This is how this is what we're doing. And you could change the trajectory of your family going to college, right? Okay, the minimum level is MBA. That's the lowest level. That's on some junior college shit there. But everybody from this point, BA, MBA, we need more PhDs in our family. And you could start having that conversation. So who's going to go get their doctorate? What is that? Because that was never discussed ever. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of times, and that's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. You know, I want to always say that it's not anybody's fault. They were doing the best they can with whatever information they had under the current circumstances that they were dealing with. Bottom line, just like we are, right? We're not going to be perfect to our future people. They, man, what the hell was y'all? Hey, man, this is, we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? If we knew better, we do better. You dig? So that's my claim right there. I just don't want y'all to quit. I don't. Refuse to lose. Take your punches. You know, there's a video on, you can look it up, UFC best comebacks. This brother gets dropped. Soon as he comes out, bop, white boy did, and I don't mean disrespect like that, but I'm just saying Caucasian guy, whatever you guys want to say, cracks him, bink, drops him. I mean, he falls. He's woozy. Keep coming at bam, 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 bam. And there, you'll see it. It's called one of the greatest comeback, like UFC. Man, dude comes back, knocks dude out. I mean, and that's how you have to be to the enemy. You can take your punches. He could crack you. He's gonna crack you. You know, my son, when he does Kaji Kimbo in Inglewood, shout out to them, man. Amazing family, man. The Kenjis are dope. If you ever go coming to LA, check the Kenjis out, man. Dope family. But anyways, the one thing they always say in that, prepare to get hit. He said one thing about our kids, they know how to take a punch. And I was like, yeah, that's for sure. That's why they go to tournaments and clean house, because they know how to take a punch. So you got to prepare yourself, man. Once you start taking punches, man, that's just the enemy. Let me keep going. Because sometimes certain punches and certain things fluster people to the point where they can't continue. That can't be you. You got to be able to take that punch and keep it rolling. All right, boom, stall on me. Let me, you know what I mean? Fire back by all means, but don't spend a lot of time sitting there playing with that fool. Because the one thing that he wants to do is stop your momentum and stop your movement. Whatever it takes to get that done. So keep that in mind. Whatever it takes to stop your movement, that's what he's trying to do. So refuse to lose, baby. We're in this to win this. Celebrate your victory. Celebrate your partners, right? Be quiet if you don't have good advice. Shut the fuck up. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Just be quiet. Because sometimes people just want a listening ear and they just want to be able to figure it out. And if you don't have a listening ear, by all means, get a journal or book of positive intentions. But don't spend your time talking to people who don't believe in you. Don't spend time to talk about people who don't believe in themselves, because that energy is going to translate to you. And you're going to start doubting yourself. They're going to start putting suggestive bullshit in your mind. Here, hey, man, have you? Nah. Shut it down as fast as you possibly can. Nah, partner, not today. Nothing I can't do. At least I don't need you to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't not from you. I'll take my advice from God, partner. Period. So again, our book of the week is A Complaint-Free World. Make sure you guys check this out. It's an old book. How to Stop Complaining and Enjoying the Life You Always Wanted. You don't want to be a complainer, man. Complaining doesn't do anything. Let's get cracking. That's the one thing my dad said. Worrying and complaining do nothing. Get cracking. Period. That will conclude our weekly tap in for this week. Certainly appreciate you guys tapping in on some of these new channels. Those who haven't hit the subscribe and notifications button, please do so right down here. Notifications so that every time we go live, you're notified. I do not want to be a pain in your ass, but I would appreciate a subscription if you can. Share it with some of your partners. And those who are listening on the podcast, please subscribe. Those who are listening around the world, we appreciate your business. We appreciate you listening in, taking the time wherever you're at in life. We've been there. Somebody on this podcast has been there, man. Refuse to lose, man. Let's keep winning. Let's tap now.